This is the Dehumidifier, a black 95-ounce model made for home use. After spending some time with it, I thought it might be helpful to share what I've noticed so far. I've been using it in a bedroom, a bathroom, and a medium-sized room where the humidity was around 65%. Setup was simple. I removed the water tank, checked that everything was seated correctly, plugged it in, and pressed the power button. There was no complicated menu or app to deal with. The unit has a compact rectangular shape. It fits easily beside a nightstand or in the corner of a bathroom. The black plastic looks simple and doesn't draw much attention. It is also light enough for me to move from one room to another without much effort.
The controls are on top.
I can turn the unit on, set the timer, change the light, or activate sleep mode. The buttons were easy to understand after a quick look. I didn't need to keep checking the instructions. This uses thermoelectric cooling instead of a compressor. That matters because it changes what I can realistically expect from it. It runs quietly and uses about 58 watts, but it does not remove moisture as quickly as a larger compressor dehumidifier. In a small bathroom or bedroom with the door closed, I could see water collecting in the tank within a day. It helped with light moisture and condensation. The change was gradual, though. I didn't turn it on and notice a major drop in humidity within a few hours. I also tried it in a room of about 425 square feet. The humidity was close to 65%, and it collected around 8 ounces over roughly 15.5 hours. That gave me a better sense of its actual performance. It was working, but the extraction rate was modest. The product description mentions spaces up to 1,000 square feet. Based on my use, I would not rely on this as the main dehumidifier for an open area that large. I think it makes more sense in an enclosed room under about 300 square feet. A closet, bathroom, small bedroom, RV, or laundry area would be a more realistic match. The 95-ounce tank is a useful size for a small thermoelectric unit. I didn't have to empty it every few hours. In my normal conditions, it took quite a while to fill because the unit collects water slowly. The tank is partly transparent, so I could check the water level without pulling it out. Removing the tank was easy. I slid it out, emptied the water, and placed it back into the unit. I didn't have trouble with splashing during normal handling. The float sensor also stopped the machine when the tank reached its limit. A red light came on, and I heard a short 5-beep alert. The automatic shutoff was one of my concerns before using it. I didn't want water spilling onto a nightstand or floor while I was away. So far, the shutoff has worked as expected. I would still place the unit on a flat, stable surface and check the tank from time to time. There is also a connection for continuous drainage. I tried using the hose, but the connection did not feel very secure. The hose attaches to a smooth port and can come loose if it gets pulled or moved. I would not leave that setup unattended unless the hose was secured another way. Because of that, I prefer emptying the tank by hand. It takes a little more effort, but I feel more comfortable knowing the hose cannot detach and leak onto the floor. Noise is one of the better parts of using this unit. In normal mode, I can hear a soft fan sound. It reminds me of low white noise. It didn't bother me while reading, working, or watching TV. Sleep mode lowers the fan speed and brings the noise down to around 35 decibels. I could still hear it in a very quiet room, but it was gentle enough for me to sleep near it. Sleep mode also turns off the bright lighting, which I appreciated at night. The water tank has 7 light colors. I can let them cycle, lock one color, or switch the light off. The light looks soft through the tank and can work as a small night light. I usually leave it off while sleeping, but I sometimes keep one color on during the evening. The timer is useful when I don't want the machine running all day. Depending on the setting, I can choose cycles such as 8, 12, 16, or 24 hours. I mostly use the longer setting in a damp bathroom and sleep mode in the bedroom. There is a washable filter, which helps keep dust from building up inside. I check it every so often and rinse it when it looks dirty. I let it dry fully before putting it back. There is also a small scent compartment, though I don't use that feature much. I prefer to run the machine without added fragrance. Compared with smaller dehumidifiers I've used, the larger tank is more convenient. Compared with compressor models, this one is quieter, lighter, and easier to move. The The trade-off is speed. A compressor unit can collect much more water in the same amount of time. Temperature also affects the results. I noticed weaker performance when the room was cooler or only mildly humid. Thermoelectric units tend to work better in warm, damp conditions. I wouldn't choose this for a cold basement with serious moisture or standing water. I also cannot make a strong claim about long-term durability yet. The fan and electronics run for long periods, so that is something I would keep an eye on. If the fan starts making a grinding sound or the control lights begin flashing, that could indicate a problem. I would check the return and warranty terms before buying, especially if I plan to run it every day. I think this dehumidifier makes sense for light moisture in a small, enclosed space. It is also useful if low noise and low power use matter more to me than fast water removal. I would not use it as a replacement for a compressor dehumidifier in a large basement or a seriously damp home. My recommendation is simple. I would consider it for a bathroom, closet, RV, or small bedroom where humidity is only a moderate issue. I would keep my expectations realistic, use the removable tank instead of relying on the drain hose, and give it enough time to collect moisture. If you have any questions about the noise, tank, controls, or how it performs in a certain room size, leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more practical product reviews. Thank you for watching.